the moronic people in this country are allowing a Russian agent to make another run for the presidency and possibly get elected. I'll elaborate on that in just a second. But keep this in mind. This is from the orange bastard's own mouth. He has said, and the pigs who operate around him, like Steve Bannon and Steve Miller and some of these real traitorous bastards, they've said that if Trump gets the election, wins the election, then right after the swearing-in ceremony, he's going to declare the Insurrection Act, or invoke the Insurrection Act, and declare martial law. Because if he does get the presidency, this country is going to erupt. And I feel that in my bones because I know I am one who will probably be in the street, and I won't be in the street with just a stick in my hand or a banner or a sign. No, I won't. And anyway, once he declares that the Insurrection Act is now in effect and anybody who participates in any kind of demonstration will be jailed, that's when the uprising will start in the United States, and it's going to be awful. It's going to be just fucking horrible. But this is what is coming. I guess you understand that. I mean, I think you do because you listen to this podcast. And the people I'm talking about, these brain-dead bastards who are following Trump, these Christian nutcases, have no idea what is at stake. They're just blindly singing their onward Christian soldiers bullshit and holding aloft their crosses and throwing their heads back with their mouths open and their hands raising up to heaven. Oh, hallelujah. Well, this monster, Donald Trump, completely takes over the country. Now, there are three of these monsters loose on the planet right now. Three fascist murderers who do not give a rat's ass about human life. They are Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel, Vladimir Putin in Russia, and this orange son of a bitch, Donald Trump, in the United States. Those three men, I mean, if you wanted to get cute, you could call them the three horsemen of the apocalypse. But these three, and there's subsidiary characters too, but these are the three main ones. Putin, Netanyahu, and Trump. And by the way, I don't know if you are aware of how many Russian Jews are in the Knesset in Israel. This is something maybe to think about. And by the way, also, I wanted to mention, and I will get to it, is Mr. Smirnoff. You know what I'm talking about? Smirnoff, the former FBI informant who the Christian fascists in the U.S. Congress have been screaming and farting and wheezing about for a year and a half, that Mr. Smirnoff, who is a Russian, he's an American citizen, but he's a Russian. He's a Russian Jew, by the way. That Mr. Smirnoff had all the information necessary to prove that Joe Biden was on the take, and his son was on the take, and Biden's brother was on the take, and everybody. And this guy had all the information, everything. Jacket Off Jim and Eileen Stefanik and the crazy Q bitch from here in Atlanta, all these people have been screaming and promising for over the past year about how they had the goods on Joe Biden. Oh, they had him dead to rights. Well, and what Smirnoff, Alexander Smirnoff, claimed was that Joe Biden and his son had received $5 million bribes, each of them. And that in addition to the bribes, Biden was doing things that was absolutely counter to U.S. national security. Well, it turns out that Smirnoff also was the way it's being put in the media is that Smirnoff was associated, I love that word, with Russian intelligence in putting that claim out. And that's according to a Department of Justice filing yesterday. Forget where it came from in the media. It doesn't make any difference. ABC, NBC, CBS, it matters not. This came from the Justice Department. Now, this Russian agent, who's been working hand in glove with Trump, by the way, and the silly little bastard Christian fascist that heads the U.S. House of Representatives now, Mike Johnson, they're all working, first of all, to make sure that Ukraine is crushed by Russia. And this is Trump's doing. Trump has ordered Mike Johnson not to bring that bill to the floor that would provide the funds necessary for the Ukrainians to defend themselves against Trump's handler, Vladimir Putin. And so far, Mike Johnson has done exactly what he was told. Where do you suppose Mike Johnson was over President's Day, over this long weekend just passed? Right, he was in Mar-a-Lago, sucking up to Trump and getting his orders from Trump. And Trump has told him flat out, don't you fucking dare do anything to help Ukraine because I hate Zelensky. He would not go along with my bullshit. This is what is the burr up Trump's ass. He is so angry because remember his first impeachment. Trump's first impeachment was a result of Trump trying to blackmail Zelensky into providing bullshit information. And that bullshit information right now, right this minute, has been revealed as bullshit. But the Christian fascists in the U.S. House are holding this hearing today with Joe Biden's brother, trying desperately to find something, anything. But if you're paying attention, and maybe you have other things on your mind, so you haven't paid close attention. Well, that's why I'm here. No, honestly, it is one of the reasons I'm here, just to keep an update going on what is going on. Alexander Smirnov, Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, Steve Miller, Vladimir Putin. I mean, the objective here, in case you're not clear, the objective here is to totally humiliate the United States. This is what Putin has been aiming for ever since, arguably, the United States broke an agreement that George Herbert Walker Bush made, that when the Soviet Union was dissolved, NATO would not advance up to the borders of Russia, which we have done. Now, I found that advancement and the breaking of that promise, at one point, I found it to be a terrible, terrible thing. And I condemned the U.S. government, several of them, including Clinton and George W. Bush and Obama, for allowing it to happen or promoting its happening. But if I may, I've now done a 180 myself. Putin is a murderous son of a bitch. He always has been. And my objection to the expansion of NATO was, why provoke somebody who is certifiably fucking crazy and has thousands of nuclear weapons? I mean, what's the goal there, right? Well, now that I have become more aware of the connection between the United States and Russia, certain politicians in this country and Putin have sworn allegiance to Putin. And Donald Trump, first among equals. That son of a bitch is a Russian agent. He will destroy this country. There is no question that if Trump gets back into office on day one, as the Justice Department has made very clear in a filing, he will declare martial law after invoking the Insurrection Act. And once that is done, there's no recourse to that. You can't challenge that. I don't think you can't challenge that in a court. And then it's game over. Now, when that declaration is made, when Trump declares martial law, there are tens of millions of people in this country, I'm one of them, who will be in the streets with whatever it takes to defend ourselves and defend this country. But also at that point, and I'm going to make a prediction here, and it's a real one, at that point, all of a sudden we will see invited into this country Russian troops. It won't be an invasion. There'll be no reason to ask for a state of war. This will be by invitation of Donald Trump. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.